They hail from around the globe, and though separated by oceans, they gather in the virtual world for reasons as varied as their locales. Whether it's a defending champion looking to retain his title, a new and eager hopeful striving for recognition, or a legend prepared to recapture past glory, in the end, the one goal they all share is to win. But when naming a victor, only one driver's name can be etched into the record books. You're watching the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour.
The land of the rising sun. A place of manners, morals, and dignity. They say that racing in Japan is different to everywhere else, that it is more difficult, that it is a completely different challenge. So to win here, you have to give it your A game. This is the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour. This is also round 8 from the legendary Suzuka on iRacing Live and the global SimRacing channel. Welcome to the global SimRacing channel Countdown to Green, which has seen every single manner of battle, slide, contact, controversy, and everything in between. But don't stop the music tonight, because I am going to step on the gas and announce the action today. I am, of course, Mr. Hashtag Do You Mind himself and the observer of SimRacing, Jake Sperry, hoping that we will get a true no result this afternoon. However, deja vu will be a key theme, as Bill Supzan shall be joining us once more. And however, Tokyo drifting into the production chair will be Amjad Yaman for this one, working the cameras placed meticulously by the invisible man, Dougie Beard. But Suzuka is one of the best circuits in the world. The opening sections are fast and winding, testing the balance of the vehicle. The second section is stop-start, testing the acceleration, while top speed is crucial for the final sector. Surely this track has to go down as one of the greatest designs in history.
I like it. It's a figure eight, even though I keep calling for them to demolish the overpass and actually just put in an intersection, but that seems to be falling on deaf ears. Suzuka is located, coincidentally enough, in the city of Suzuka in Japan. The track opened in 1962. This place started as a test track for Honda. It has a variety of corner types, a few high-speed portions, a figure eight layout that offers a more equal amount of left and right-handers, which makes it perfect for a test track, but challenging as a racetrack. It hosted F1 in 63 and 64 before F1 went over to Fuji. Modified several times in 83, the geometric Casio triangle was added, and the Degna curve was made into two corners rather than one sweeping right-hander. You know, F1 returned in 87, and Suzuka has hosted the Japanese Grand Prix all but 2 years since. But the best way to get an idea of what it's like to get around the origami pretzel is 17 turns, 3.5 miles. It's a jump on board to take a lap around in the GSRC MX-5.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Suzuka. The front stretch is going to be a long blast in this car, so the draft may create passing opportunities, but the braking into 1 and 2 will definitely discourage guys trying to enter side by side. You might see a game of chicken into these corners a few times during the race. There's a lot of banking here in turn 2, so you'll really want to use it to carry your speed out towards the S's. But from here on out, your line is going to be critical. Each corner flows into the next, so getting offline will screw up your rhythm and be extra costly to your lap time. It should be single file through here after the first lap. Now, coming out of this last right-hander, you want to hug the right to get a nice launch into the Dunlop curve. If you hit it right, you'll be flat out all the way to Degner 1. Get it wrong, and you'll either have to lift or risk drifting into the dirt on the outside. Now, the Degner corners will be another place where I would not advise trying to enter side by side. It's just a little bit of braking, glance off the curb, and get it straightened for Degner 2. Once again, you've got a heavily cambered corner, so you can take more speed than you'd expect through here. From there, you've got a short time to relax before we hit the hairpin. This little right-hand kink before it can make the braking tricky and setting up a pass even trickier. But it's definitely one of the better passing spots on this very technical circuit. However, the most important part here is setting up your exit, because the blast around the long, gentle turn 12 will be full power the whole way. This is another spot where the draft may offer you an opportunity to close up and get a nose in on your competitor, especially if you're trailing them closely. It's also a bit safer to have a go since there's plenty of runoff around the outside of Spoon. This corner is another one that requires accuracy because it's really a double apexer. If you drift wide after the first part, say goodbye to your hopes of hitting the second apex. And just to add insult to injury, if you did miss it, you've got the backstretch to worry about. Without a good exit, the combination of the draft and the long run means the car behind you is probably going to be looking up the inside. If this happens, hope you've got some large stones because now we're heading towards 130R. It's just the lightest of braking, hit your marks, and get back on the power through this fearsomely fast bend. But before you know it, you're now setting up for the Casio Triangle. Here is your last good place to try to overtake. It's probably the heaviest braking zone, but with the chicane there can still be some difficulties getting the job done, especially if the other guy is a good defender. Still, the exit's going to be important once again because now we're dumped back on the pit straight, and you'll want every ounce of oomph the little Mazda engine can give you. As you come across the line, you've finished a lap around Suzuka.
Do you like our car? The GSRC MX-5 sampling Suzuka's best spots out on course. But Soup, tempers flared and mistakes were made last time out. How does this have an impact on the championship standings today?
Well, we got a little change at the top. This truly is the MX-5 World Tours. You look at those flags down there, Australia and New Zealand, Estonia, United States and England, 5 different nations representing the 5 top spots. Sonny Ketchen, the Aussie, was able to go ahead and jump around Aero Num. Sonny's 5 out of 7, the only races that he hasn't won are the ones he has missed. But thanks to the beauty of drop race insurance, no-show compensation, he sits 8 points ahead of Aero Num. Then there's the best of the rest, and that's Travis Swenke back there, 115 points back, about 30 points up on the Kiwi of Gene Fittis. And then the guy to watch, this guy has been good. Started off early, little by little, has been picking up the pace each race, and I'm talking about the Englishman Jason Cooper sitting in 5th. Look for him to get another podium here today, I think. Let's go and look at the Amateur Driver Championships here, and this one is not quite a variety of nations, as England has 3 out of the 5 spots, but it's all behind Stefan van Opstel for Belgium, way out in front by 63 points. Look for him to move up to the pros next season. Anwar Smith behind him, Adam McNally and Neil Bamber represent the UK. Then rounding out the overlay, it is Luke de Juke Willemsen, 147 points back, the Dutchman racing there. Okay, Jake.
Okay, I've just realised that there's a United Kingdom flag next to names that say England. Okay, I'll just brush over that. The season has been very good so far, and we may as well be running in the 90s. But however, Soup, everybody knows that street racing in Japan is a massive thing, but no race can ever be done without rules. Be it in the hills or on the track, the well has bucket loads of water.
Just to follow up on Jake's last point, yes, on our overlays, we also list the states for the people who are from, but we don't put up the Ohio state flag. So if you're from a state, you get a U.S., and whatever United Kingdom part you are from, you get a UK flag there. Don't get a Wales flag, or I guess you get a Scottish. Is Scotland part of the UK, Jake?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, you get a Scottish flag. Let's get to this graphic right here. Season 15, round 8 of 13, 3 no-show comps. We talked about that. Race distance is 18 laps. Setups are open. Incident cap, well, there is none, but you do get those bonus points for racing clean. And that's going to come really important here as we get down to the end of the season with that gap between the leaders so close. Usually, the fast guys are horrible when it comes to that miles per incident chart, but both Num and Ketchen are aware that being clean could determine the championship.
It certainly could here, Soup, as we are in the middle of qualifying right now. Late afternoon conditions here, 22 degrees morning conditions actually, shall I say. 22 degrees in the air, 28 on the track. This really is the land of the rising sun. But Soup, big, heavy 20-kilometer-an-hour winds coming in from the east. That's going to prove a little bit challenging here today, especially as that looks to bring in a headwind heading into 130R.
Yeah, the headwind coming in. These cars are, it'll be interesting how that plays. I like a headwind going in there. Anything that makes me go slower, I'm going to approve of going through 130R. Track temperature of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That should be pretty good grip for these rascals out here. I think what we're looking at here, no matter what the weather was like, no matter what the wind is like, I think this is such a draft-heavy track that we're looking at a long train of cars early, and the key to this race was how long will the train be and who will start to fall off.
How long will that train be? Indeed, shall I say. As the first times come in, 2:23.2 from Steven van Opstal. He has one more lap to go. The Bay State Hammer will look to try and beat that time, and beat it he shall not, so he'll have one more lap to make that work. Here's Sonny Kanchan, though, in the 59. Only 18 vehicles here looking to take to qualification at this stage. And that short run to the line, 2:23 flat. There's 0.2 of a second. Surprisingly, it's only 0.2 over Van Opstal.
This being a pretty major holiday in the U.S., I think we're down a little bit there on participation today. 18 is a really small number. Good opportunity for drivers to pick up points. But remember, the MX-5 World Tour uses a rationed point system, which is really interesting. You get 100 points for a win, you get 25 for finishing last, and then all the parts in between are spread out evenly. So just because the field is small, you're not going to benefit from finishing 18th today.
You certainly are not. Marcello Pagnan, the Italian, moves up into third, 2:23.070. It's Iru Nom on pole position with a 2:22.6. He forfeited the championship lead after contact at Road Atlanta. Very, very crucial that he gets his run. Worth noting, no Anwar Barral Smith either. He'll have to take compensation points, Soup, which means Van Opstal has to get the race of his life working, but he knows that his teammate, Adam McNally, in the Youth Energy Machine, is there to make some positions.
Yeah, we're looking at Errol Num. The two rookies are here, though. The one that sits fifth in the points, Jason Cooper. And the other one that we get to watch out for, who's really good, is Artem Koralski.
And into pole position goes Robert Hartley.
Hartley caught the attention of one of our GSRC co-commentators who were sitting in with us here before the race, sitting up there with an I rating and an I rating of 9,500. Ouch!
I tell you what, that's more I rating than the two-time iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series champion Martin Kroenke. There are only two drivers in sim racing who have more I rating than Robert Hartley. One of them is the only man to have 10,000 I rating, and that is Maximilian Benecke. That shows you how good Robert Hartley can be when he races at the level that he does. The second times, though, they will look to start coming in very, very soon. Eyes on Kanchan in a number 59 machine through the Casio triangle, really pushing on the exit there, almost all four wheels off of the racing surface as he makes the push to try and find that extra half a second around here, and he doesn't find it, only a couple of tenths. He will start no better than third position for this one. Nom can't go quicker, and now I wonder who can. Marcello Pagnan, perhaps?
Sitting down in fourth right now. I got to find out if Robert Hartley is single. If he isn't, that's a great pickup line. Hi, I'm Robert Hartley, and I got a 9,500 I rating.
You bet it is there, Soup. You bet it is. But to the line, Marcello Pagnan. 2:23.7. No, that's not good enough. That was not a strong lap from Marcello Pagnan's perspective. Artem Koralski comes down onto the lane. And Dries Nice, who is going to only get one lap in here, Soup, he's got to have a magic lap because he knows how important it is to get those points.
He needs to be about 7th or 8th, I think. If you start to get down into double digits in qualifying, you gotta worry about you're not going to get on the lead train.
And that lead train is going to be difficult. And Robert Hartley making his drive to the line as well. He just needs a little bit more to make that little bit more of a buffer in case Dries Nice goes that bit quicker. Here he comes, looking to put a dagger in. Nope, won't find a dagger. Keep an eye on Dries Nice. 1 minute to go. He's making his way then to 1:30R. Once we see Dries Nice's lap, we will go to the Heusinkveld starting grid for this one. Heusinkveld offers a broad array of products and services, including advanced vehicle simulation software and hardware, and sponsors on practically every major team in sim racing today. If you're looking for an edge in racing, get in touch with Heusinkveld today. Over the line comes Dries Nice, 2:23.3, 8th position. Not bad at all, but the grid shall be as follows. Robert Hartley on pole position, 2:22.582, an exact 1/10 of a second quicker than Iru Nom in second, with Sonny Kanchan down in third. It's an all-Asbury second row as Marcelo Pagnan starts fourth with Jason Cooper in fifth. Artem Karolski in sixth position with Stephen Van Opstal seventh, the leading amateur. Dries Nice splits the amateurs in eighth with Adam McNally ninth, and Marco Derricks rounding out 10.
Then the few main drivers remaining in 11th, it is the Bay State Hammer, Tom Ratchey, probably close enough to be able to stick onto the lead train if he's lucky. Jordy Fike, that'll be a tall order for him, starting in the 12th position. In the Baker's dozen spot is Bjorn DeForsch. He's going to be inside of Robert Vitta. In 15th position, it's Arjun Sheppers. Jeroen Ursum, all ribbons and curls in the Sweet 16 position. Tripp Smith behind him. Errol Smith, really, really clean. Always a clean driver. And Loop the Jupe Wilmanson in the 18th spot.
Yes, he is. 2 minutes to get gridded up, or you start from that dreaded place known as Pit Road. 18 laps here today. Doesn't sound like much, but when they are 2 minute 22 lap times, we're looking at about a 45-minute race. And that 45 minutes is certainly going to be a difficult and a long 45 minutes for some.
Watch out for the action going into the hairpin. That's always where things start to bottle up. This track spreads out nicely early on, but when we have incidents, it's usually right there on the first lap. Drivers trying to be a little aggressive going in there.
Normally, drivers do get aggressive, but they have that ability to go out there and push as we wait for Robert Hartley to get up onto the grid. For Sonny Kanchin, he's been unbeaten so far this season. For Iru Nom, he's been a bridesmaid all bar once, and he's still in that championship hunt. For Hartley, he just cares about one thing, and that's winning. For Pagnan, it's helping Sonny Kanchin. For Jason Cooper, it's points as we still wait for Dries Nice, who makes his way up onto the starting grid. 18 on the grid then. Engine notes will rise. 18 laps at the land of the rising sun. We're here at Suzuka. And let's get ourselves underway. And it's a good start by all as they make the charge towards turn number 1. No chance then for Robert Hartley to be overtaken as they fall single file up to 5th position, where Cooper is under pressure from Artem Karolski, who goes down to the inside at turn number 1 and down to the inside at 2. Almost takes the rear out there of the driver named Marcelo Pagnan. Gets away with that. Cooper gets the position back because of it, and we're all single file as we head into the S's.
Finally, Nice, Van Opstal, and McNally get us sorted out. Single file now as they work through 18 perfectly timed puffs of smoke off the starting grid.
18 perfectly timed puffs of smoke, but now it's about how you manage yourself through the mid part of this lap, because you go through the S's, you head through this big, long Dunlop curve, this big, long left-hander that always seems to be a challenge, as now you head yourself to the Degners 1 and 2. Big runs then through the right-hander, up on 2 wheels, most of them into the second Degner and onto the power once more. Again, Jason Cooper under pressure. Artem Karolski in the mix, looking for an opportunity. That's what is sometimes christened Kobayashi corner for Kamui Kobayashi's brave antics in his Sauber, but no chance for the move to happen. Almost contact there, Karolski and Nice.
Nice job, though, from everybody, no pun intended, as they all make it through. We were worried about a dive bomb in there, not really happening.
Not really happening at all, but still though, Robert Hartley leads at the front of this field. Iru Nom in second position, holding station, doing all that he needs to do on the brakes then into the next left-hander out on the circuit. This is Spoon, the double apex right, and it's so easy to get things wrong through Spoon corner and the prime overtaking opportunity that comes along of 130R. Breakaway of 4 already then. Marcelo Pagnan doing well, but here's side by side. Nice once again attacking Artem Karolski. They'll have to do it the long way round though when they get to the right hander, and he gets the move done before they even make themselves on to the brakes as they now look for the Casio triangle, the final corner out on circuit. We also have that battle, Van Opstal and McNally, as Van Opstal goes down the inside now of Karolski and doesn't quite make that happen. That was work in motion. It was almost kinetic there as he looked to go through. Look how he runs wide, and look how that allows McNally the chance to attack.
Yeah, he made the attack in there, but he was fast early in the triangle, but cost him on the last part of it. He drops the position. Dries Nice is the only driver really picking up any spots. He's picked up 2. Everybody else pretty much racing in order.
Racing in order. Overtakes haven't been the order of the day then so far. Eyes, though, still onto this train because from Van Opstal. You got behind him Marco Derricks, the Bay State Hammer Tom Ratji, the Sheriff Jordi Fike, the Bjorn de Forge, that is Bjorn de Forge, and then we got Robert Vita, Ian Shepherd, and Juke Willemsen, all there in the mix. Still, though, you can't really angle an attack here, and McNally just opening up the corner a little bit there, showed the nose to Van Opstal, and any lesser driver would probably have gone for a small little dive, a cheeky little look. Not Van Opstal, he knows to sit and wait.
And Opstal has dropped 2 spots. We'd like to get those back. Lost that one in the Casio Triangle to McNally. He wants it back right now.
Certainly does, as the battle at the front almost starting to become a train of 6, as Nice and Cooper now work hard to get onto the rear of Panyan and Kanchin. Kanchin looking all over for an overtake then on Irunom. Wants to get the position because the championship at stake between these 2 rivals has been for the past 3 seasons here in MWT circles. So Irunom knows, I have to race at the best of my ability. Robert Hartley, though, probably racing a little bit better here, starting to bridge that gap up to about half a second here, Soup. Half a second, always very difficult to bridge, and I think that for what he's worth, for what he wants to do, I think that he just wants to extend that gap slowly but surely. Just break the spirit ever so gently, almost letting down gently Irunom.
We were riding on board there with Sonny Kanchin, the 3-time championship. Now we pull away looking at Irunom in second. Look at the 2 white cars in the back there. These are the guys who are coming. Cooper and Dries Nice. Nice is really hustling to get around Cooper. Jason says, okay, I realize we want to get there, so I will hang on to the back of Pignon. I think we're going to get a nice 6-car train, but a great run so far from Nice to come up from 8th position.
Well, it is very much a nice 6-car train because Nice is involved in said 6-car train. So that much we can definitely say is the case, as no real moves happen into the final chicane. As Arian Shepherds, Robert Vita, Bjorn de Forge form their own little train, and here we go, side by side, as that's Street Nice, Jason Cooper, and Jeroen Ursum running into a side-by-side, an issue now as he gets overtaken by the Arrow.
Yeah, Jeroen, these guys have been battling a long time. You'll see them at the very back of your screen, just coming onto the straight right now. Smith and Ursum racing for 17th. These guys have raced back here many a times. They have their own little race the whole time.
They certainly do have their own mini race, and we know that Jeroen Ursum was maybe a little bit greedy on the exit curve. You can't really put the power down on the AstroTurf here, Soup. It's so easy to spin up a wheel and then end up going sweet and sideways.
It's funny, these 2 guys, Jeroen Ursum is, of course, league organizer, and Triff Smith puts in a ton of time hosting practices. These 2 guys, nobody loves the MWT more than them, and they race together at the very back. Good job, guys. Ursum in his traditional My Little Pony car, racing that for his daughter.
Yeah, no worries at all from him, as he looks to prove that gender roles, gender barriers actually don't need to be challenged at all, really, with where they are. I've completely butchered what I'm saying, but let's continue. I love sim racing. Irunom, though, still under pressure from Sonny Kanchin, and we're seeing here how it's a train of 6, almost a train of 7. The waiting game, fuel, it's more important here. 18 laps only, that window opens lap 6 to 12. You feel, though, here, Soup, that you know, this is a race circuit where when you have less of leniency in a window, that strategy maybe becomes a bit more basic.
Yeah, I don't know what Hartley's going to do. He's the pole sitter. Can he afford to, like, come in early, maybe run some hot laps by himself? I don't know. When you got Kanchin and Numb behind you, if you're out in front, I think you got to kind of be happy with that. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the whole front train pit together.
Well, that may just be the case, but it's starting to splinter a little bit. Marcelo Panyan is struggling to stay on the back of Sonny Kanchin. Irunom may be starting to struggle to stay on the back of Robert Hartley into the bus stop or into the Casio Triangle. Sorry, once again for the 3rd time in this event. As now Artem Karolski desperately tries to get onto the train as the battle going on once again is for the amateur category. McNally versus Van Opstal, and Van Opstal is back through on the Geordie man.
Korowski, a driver that I was hoping to see run up front. He qualified 6th, lost a spot. He was up there with Cooper. The 2 rookies qualified together, but he's fallen off the pace.
There's the change. Jason Cooper overtaken by Dries Nice. It seems that with a Guy Fieri-inspired livery, it seems that maybe he's had a bit too much to put on there as he's lost the position. Maybe get to shed a couple of pounds of weight to try and get that position back. But for now, you look at just how difficult this has been. This has not been a circuit at the moment that has produced masses of overtaking. Turn 1 really has been here today, Soup, the prime place to make a move done.
Yeah, well, the turn 1 pass is not going to help you on the white flag lap, so I think the drivers are going to have to find a better spot to get that pass done. Again, I like it into that hairpin, always a good spot to do it. Also, you can force the issue into the Casio triangle if you get a good run out of 130R. We'll see how that plays out. Right now, Hartley, Numb, and Catchin, though, just happy just to put in the miles. And Jan as well.
The miles are there, and of course the miles per incident as well comes into play. And if nobody battles, assuming that you drive this one on the island, Soup, nobody gains an incident.
That's right. And look at that. Now we do have a 7-car train as the other rookie has got in there. Kowalski pulled up behind Cooper.
Yes, he certainly has. So it looks like Artem Kowalski knows that he wants to be on this train. He wants to be going. Dries Nice is always very good when it comes to trains like this. But as we know, sometimes nice guys finish last, but not Dries. Dries knows how to make positions.
Good fight going on behind in the second train, Jake, and that's Van Opstroll and McNally. Derek's, you know, I'm surprised that Tom Ratchie hasn't moved up. He's racing back there in 11th, closer to the back of the field than the front. That's unusual for Tom to be so far back.
Here comes the move, though, from McNally down the inside at 130R. Van Opstroll's not going to fight it. Will Derek's look for the move? Big mistake, and he holds it together. Somehow does Van Opstroll. Almost takes the nose away on Marco Derek's. He'll hold it around the outside then in this battle. Looks back for the inside. Try and get that move heavy over the curbs. And again, looks to get the position and does so. So there is another one down in the order for you. As Sonny Kanchin now. Big move to the outside. Get in my mirror. He didn't just get in the mirror. He got into the mirror that was 3 mirrors across from the other mirror there, Sue.
Keep that move that we just saw from McNally in your mind when we get to the white flag lap. That could be the pass for the win. And we look up there, Numb and Kanchin continue to battle it out.
Yes, they certainly do. Keep an eye on this third train as well as Arjen Shepard's under pressure. Down the inside comes the Loop Duke Willemsen, and Willemsen comfortably gets past Arjen Shepard. Shepard's just run a little bit wide there through to open the door.
Willemsen qualified at the back of the field, working his way up 4 spots.
Up 4 spots and continuing to push on here. As now there's slightly a gap between Derricks and McNally in this second pack. First pack, though, stays as it was for the moment, except Marcelo Pagnan now becomes the next victim on the list of nice. The nice list, not the naughty list, the nice list. So now Dries Nice knows that he's got to get past Pagnan here, Soup, but it's going to be about how he picks and chooses, because he has systematically bitten off every single driver behind him one at a time.
Well, yeah, he was last to qualify. He was last to take a spot on the starting grid. He's going to try to be first to the checkered flag. And right now, next up is the Italian driver, and Dries is really having a good run.
He certainly is. They head through 200 right into Spoon, and this double apex left-hander of Spoon. Off camber as well. Camber's used a lot here at Suzuka. That's one of the reasons why setting up a car is so challenging.
Yeah, and Pagnan took it really wide out of Spoon. This is a good run for Nice here if he wants to force the issue. He's only about a car length back. Watch him see if he dives it in when we get to the Casio Triangle here. He's really close.
And we've seen how running wide has actually cost them a bit of time to the leading trio. As Sonny Kanchin maybe had a run on Irunom, but decided to stay back and save fuel. Fuel very, very vital here in these vehicles, especially when it's limited to just 30% limit of the fuel tank. You can only go so far when it goes on the tank. So they know what they need to do. They know what they have to do. As now Marco Derek's still fighting off Steven Van Opstroll in the second train. The Bay State Hammer and Jordi Fike doing a good job. Jordi Fike actually up there in this train. It's not often that we see him there. He's managed to latch onto the rear and never let go.
Yeah, hanging out of the back of Tom Ratchie. That's a good run for Jordi. He's been picking up the speed lately. Let's move up a little bit to Van Opstroll. He's trying to look on the outside of Derek's as they go down into one. Not going to happen there. The preferred line is going to get the best of it.
Yep, the preferred line certainly is on the inside, and Marco Derek's holds position for the moment as they make the runs to the SS section 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and all the rest of the corners left on the circuit. So right now for Van Opstroll, It's all about maintaining momentum through these corners. It's such a difficult one. The moment you make a mistake, you run slightly wide, you lose your run for the next 3-4 corners. It's almost like you're trying to do a drift course. The fact that you have to be as close to the cone as possible and you have to be as sideways as possible.
As we ride on board with Van Opstal, the leading AM driver. A lot of those AM drivers are here today. Van Opstal Racing, and of course McNally is on that chart as well. Wilmanson back in 14th, another amateur driver.
Yep, a lot of amateurs here, like Bjorn de Forge, Arjen Shepherds, Robert Vita, who we haven't really talked about much in the 031. Vita on the back of this little train, having a very good run of things at the moment, but probably will be looking to try and get up to the front of this 4-car train sometime in the near future. Either that or use strategy to get yourself further forward.
So far, it looks like it's going to be an easy week for the racing stewards, as there's not a lot of incidents. Let me knock on this. There we go. So far, so good, but been very clean race.
Oh, but as we know, there is a curse of the commentator that does crop up from time to time, so we hope that that doesn't get itself involved. Catching again, tucked up underneath Irunom here in the battle for second position. Not going to have it. Nice looks to the outside of Michel Opignan. Not going to have that either. So right now, overtakes very much. It seems that there's allergies.
There are no bonus points for leading a lap. There's no bonus points for most laps led. But there is bonus for being ahead of the guy that's pitting behind you. So I don't expect these guys to make a move up here, and I'm talking Hartley or Num and Ketchum. You want to know when they're about to pit? That's when you'll see them maybe try to get ahead of the guy that they're racing with. Right now, they're just happy to race in line.
Marco Derricks through then at 130R on the driver of Alan McNally. McNally, fantastic little attempt to try and get back, though, through the Casio Triangle. It didn't quite work, though. This opens up the door a little bit here as Jordi Fike sits perfectly poised on the rear. To the outside tries McNally through turn 1. Derricks has it covered. Can you pick and choose, pick and roll, maybe, for the chance at turn number 2? Not gonna quite have it. Trying, not quite there. Off goes a vehicle, though, in the front group. I believe that's a certain Michel Opignan. It is a certain Michel Opignan. And just looking at how that happened, that was all of his own accord there, Soup. He looked to try and go through the corner, goes through turn number 4, gets a slide on, big correction of oversteer, and ends up in the gravel and the grass.
Yeah, you say that's on his own accord, but it also, I got a hunch that Dries Nice had a little something to do with that one. Not by making contact, but just putting on the pressure. So Nice picks up another position. Now, though, he's got to see if he can run down the interval between him and Katchen at 0.7 of a second. And we look in there. There's Pajan coming back, cycles back into 7th.
And now Manali's just made a... Yeah, Manali made a fantastic move coming out of Dunlop. It's so rare to get a move out of there and in towards Degner's 1 and 2. He was just able to run the outside, and it was just a yield in the end from Marco Derricks, who had the inside, but really a fantastic move there from Adam McNally, showing off his skills.
McNally having a good run. He's been losing, going up and down in positions. He qualified 9th, up 1 spot into 8th. He's been battling with Derricks.
He's been having that battle with Marco Derricks, but Derricks is certainly not going to give up on this one just yet, as it has been very much pack racing. In the third pack, Arjen Shepard suddenly gets up to the front of the pack, and to the back is Bjorn de Forge. So de Forge has probably had a mistake somewhere that's dropped him back. He lost 2 positions and then a third to Robert Vita, so now it's his turn to go save fuel.
You're looking at that third pack. The driver that's really on a move back there is Juke Wilmanson. He started last. He's picked up another spot, getting around Vita. Would like to get to the lead there if you can get around Shepherds.
He really would like to get to the lead of that pack, and well, he knows that it's only about a matter of time. We're on lap 8 now here of 18. 10 laps to go the next time they cross the start-finish line, and no drivers to pit except one. Bay State Hammer comes in early once again, and it seems that you may be the Bay State Hammer, but it seems that the Bay states that he pits.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like he had a good feel for what was going on. Maybe he just wants to go in there, see if he can run some hot laps by himself. What you have is about a 7-car train up in front, and they're racing quite a bit ahead. They're about 8 seconds back before you get to the next guys, which would be McNally, Derricks, and Van Opstal. We've lost the Bay State Hammer out of that one. Fike is in that mix as well. A little bit of gap since Ratchie pulled in. Then you got another train going on, Shepherds, Vete, DeForge, and Wilmanson. And then the 2 guys in the back, Can we get a little look at them? What's going on back there? Right now it's Ursum ahead of Smith.
And Smith down on the lane, and Juke Willemsen will keep an eye on this one because he has had a little bit of a drop back over the last small little bit. It was a mistake coming into the final corner. Exits the Casio triangle there, Stu. Big slide trying to bring that power down, and he just never had it in control. Holds it together, but loses the draft.
I see we're back live now. That's too bad. He was having a good run. He worked up all those positions. He's going to have to struggle now to get those back. Meanwhile, up in front, Jake, not much changing, but Dries Nice. Remember, he had that gap. A little bit worried there when Pajan had the off. The Dries wasn't going to be able to close it up. No problem. He's safely in fourth.
He is very safely in fourth as he looks to open up the corner at Spoon. Very much different to what Sonny Kanchin is able to do at the moment. Irunom currently in second. Still, Robert Hartley has led every single lap of this event and very much is having his fuel drained at the front of this field. But now for Irunom, he knows he likes draining that fuel. He knows he can drain that fuel, but he also knows one very crucial factor, that he can do anything he likes. He loves pushing the boat out on his strategy, early or late.
Well, all season long, we've seen Sonny Ketchen be able to race fast and also not burn up a lot of fuel. Meanwhile, look at Ketchen as this is Nice again. I wouldn't be surprised if Dries doesn't make a challenge on him going down into one.
Well, I think he would want to get that track position, and that's what we've been seeing. Make moves, make moves, make million-dollar moves as he looks to try and think about it. He thought about it, but he thought, nah, I'll try again later. Look, though, at how that's just completely opened the gap between Kanchin now and Irunom. A good couple of tenths of a second in between them, at least half a second I'd put now, and that's just going to be Kanchin trying to close that back up. Dries Nice will then have to close that up, but he's got some unwanted baggage behind him, and that is the Guy Fieri shirt-looking car of Jason Cooper.
And Cooper feeling good with about a second and a half gap now back to Kowalski and Pajan. Those guys, Pajan is in danger of losing the lead draft.
Well, he certainly is. We also saw a look down to the inside now from Robert Vita. They'll be side by side into the S's then. The battle going on, P13, P12 out on circuit, but Iron Shepherds with the inside, just washing out a little bit too much there was Robert Vita, and Vita will lose that position and will lose the opportunity. Sorry, he hasn't really lost a position, but it does allow Bjorn to force into the party. Rule
of thumb on pit window here in the MX-5 World Tour, usually break it into thirds. We're going 18 laps. You got to figure 6 where you can't pit, the last 6 where you better have your fuel. Somewhere between 6 and 12 would be the pit window. But even here in Suzuka, you are on the throttle so much, I'd be surprised if they can go past 12.
And I've just seen a mistake from Jason Cooper. He was just starting to lose the rear end. He corrected it, but he had to take a trip into the grass, and as such, he has lost the back end of Dries Nice. The unwanted baggage is gone for Nice. He can now go and try and attack Sonny Kanchin. But Kanchin is now looking to try and get the move that he wants. He's going to look for the inside as Jordi fights through on Steven Van Opstal for another position. But look at this. Kanchin starting to make himself known, trying to box in Irunom at 130R. Nom may try and find himself a way to go through. He doesn't have it. Side by side, they're going to stay. So now for Sonny Kanchin, how does he go and make the move? Here comes Dries Nice, though. Oh, he thought about trying to catch him unawares. He decided against it, though. I would have probably had a cheeky dive at that one there, Sue.
Yeah, and why are they fighting is because the pit stops are going to be coming pretty soon, and that's one place where they can make up time. But all that fighting from Ketchen, that puts them again into the clutches of Dries Nice. Nice with a good momentum run on the outside. He's just about pulled up on him, Jake. Is he going to force it?
I think he's going to have to here because he's slowly getting the draft from Irunom. There's no draft for Kanchin, but Kanchin holds on to position for the moment. Dries Nice unable to make that move, but it's going to be about now just the waiting game as Jason Cooper gets back onto the rear. Artem Karolski, though, he's been working very hard. He did a 2:23.5 that last time by. That was a full half a second quicker than your race leader.
That's right. He was a second and a half behind. Now he's only a second behind Cooper. So he's getting back in there, trying to bring the Italian driver with him as he could.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on times, though. Bay State Hammer against the Sheriff Jordi fight for the Bay State Hammer, Tom Ratchey. He's looking to try and beat a time at the moment of 2:26.8 as Fike looks to come out of pit road. He's come in and made his one and only stop for today. Here comes the Bay State Hammer. Is he going to get the jump? The answer is they're going to be back together again like a married couple, and not too much anymore, because it's going to be a lot of work to stay within that 1 second for Jordi Fike.
A lot of momentum for Ratchy, but Fike does a good job through 1 and 2, trying to hang on that gap just under 0.7 of a second.
And a big slide there through Kobayashi corner for Dries Nice. He had that big slide with the rear tyres, and he was able to hold it together, but has lost a couple of tenths of a second because of it. So we're seeing now how there is that big difference going on here. So Japanese tarmac, certainly different. Japanese asphalt has all those seashells, and it makes this surface quite greasy and difficult to drive on.
Oh, I didn't know that. Tell me more. There's seashells involved on the tarmac. That's some getting deep stuff going on there, Jake.
It is some deep stuff, as now Sonny Kanchin looks to go side by side on the outside this time. And you look now at Sonny Kanchin trying to use the draft from Robert Hartley, and Hartley trying to help out then on that outside, take the line that he wants. But again, look how it's going to work out for Iru Nom. Kanchin has to run wide, track extend a little bit. Here comes Dries Nice on the outside. That's not going to work. Big lunge to the inside. Sonny, you can't do that. You're not Daniel Ricciardo. You can't make moves like that. In comes Robert Hartley, and the whole train dives in, except the back three.
All right, now, this is where all season long, this is a great run. Hartley gets a great gap into the pit lane. Num, Kanchin, these guys are experienced all season long. The two rookies have been horrible, Cooper and Kurowski, who stay out.
Yes, they certainly do. Michele Pinian did come in the end. I didn't have eyes on it as they all looked to hit their boxes. And look at that. Kanchin was so slow looking to hit his box. He was so out of position. I think he wasn't really anticipating it. And up go the the left side tyres then for Sonny Kanchin as he looks to change them out and away then. Goes Dries Nice. Oh, you're brave to go that early. You're brave to go that early. He goes early. I wonder if he's been fuel saving. I don't think he has. Hartley was slow. Pinian was slow. For the first time ever, I'm going to say something that's never been said before. Sonny Kanchin was the worst of the lot when it came to the pit stop.
Yeah, I don't think he was used to finding his pit box. Usually it's the very last one on pit lane, but not this time. There is no way that Dries Nice got enough fuel. I'm telling that right now, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way.
There's no way. Well, we'll see if he sticks behind the driver of Iru Nom to make things happen. He could try and work to get to the train of Bjorn de Force, Duke Willemsen and Arian Shepherds, but I think that's not going to be the way that it works. But for now, Jason Cooper leads this race. Artem Kurowski in second. These two have to work together, and I think they're working to get to Sonny Kanchin here. No retirement so far through 11 laps worth of racing, but it's between those two. We also have Van Opstal versus Derricks, and remember, Van Opstal is racing against Adam McNally, who came down onto the lane last time by.
All season long, Kurowski and Cooper have been fast. All season long, they have been incredibly slow when it came to pit stops. Let's hope they got that figured out.
Let's hope they do, as Artem Kurowski now looks to the inside to make the move on Jason Cooper. He wants track position to get onto the lane first. So vital when it comes to this circuit, especially with the narrow pit road that they have here, how it is just separated by one lovely little line of an Armco barrier on the brakes into the Casio triangle. Your leading pair come along as they look to try and find their line as they get onto the lane, and a big slide from the pair of them. Out of position was Jason Cooper. That will cost him a 10th as they go onto the single track pit road, and they look to make their stops. Big late lunge. I wonder there if Jason Cooper was speeding.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. Right now, they can't figure out their order through the pit lane here.
And Derrick stays out. Wow, Marco Derrick stays out. He'll go for a 12th lap here soon.
Might have been. I really thought that was going to be a tall order, but maybe he was saving enough fuel. Okay, the leaders are in. Let's see if we can pick up where is Nice.
Nice coming around the final corner right now, hoping to get onto the rear of Duke the Luke Willemsen in a very close time. Kurowski comes out of pit road, looking to try and get his strategy working. Has he got the jump? He's got the Luke Willemsen. He's trying to get up to speed. Here comes Dries Nice. Nice is going to go past, so is Iru Nom, but that is firmly Artem Kurowski on the rear of this train, and he is now the bridge in the divide between himself and Robert Hartley.
Cooper, I got a hunch. Jake, you called it. Maybe a speeding penalty. Oh, he was in there forever. He comes out of pit lane next to Van Opstal.
He does, and Van Opstroll has been jumped, and there is a vehicle
McNally
in between him, and that's Adam McNally. Behind that, Bay State Hammer, Tom Ratju, and Jordi Fike were working together. They get jumped to the back of the train, and all of a sudden that train, that second pack, is as it was then, as Shepherd's comes out along with Bjorn de Forge, and they should get out with Robert Vita. In fact, they break Robert Vita in terms of the racing.
I don't mean to speak it into reality, but yeah, Cooper, once again, a horrible stop. The good news is that his rookie partner, Kowalski, much better. He's back in the mix right now with the rest of the guys.
Marco Derricks leads this race in the 207. His advantage is huge over Duke Luke Willemsen. It is at almost 20 seconds at the moment. But remember, those two at the front have yet to come down and make their stop. Dries Nice is in third, Iru Nom fourth. Fifth for Artem Kowalski, sixth is Robert Hartley, seventh is Marcelo Pignan. Sonny Kanchin off the back of the train in eighth place. He needs to hot lap like he's never hot lapped before, because this is going to be a damaging race for his title perspective.
We've gone halfway, so Derricks and Willemsen hoping that Godzilla comes out of the ocean and this race has to be stopped due to Monster, but I don't think that's going to happen. Here comes the pit stop, I think, from our two leaders now.
Well, that certainly could be the case. Marco Derricks under a lot of pressure. Here comes Dries Nice, though. He's going to go past Duke Luke Willemsen, and that's going to throw a cat amongst the pigeons here, because Iru Nom's going to have to follow through 130R. It's also going to allow Artem Kowalski maybe to be a little bit slower than he wants to. This brings Hartley onto the train, who uses the draft to his advantage, and he may just go for the big swing down the inside. He doesn't. Marco Derricks, though, is on the lane. He looks to try and make his stop. Willemsen is being absolutely freight trained here. He's lost 4 positions. Welcome to MWT, Duke Luke Willemsen. This is a masterclass of how to race at the front.
Pit entrance could not come early enough for the Dutchman. He finally just gets off the track.
Oh, Bay State Hammer into the rear of Van Opstroll. He missed his breaking point by forever and a day.
Oh my goodness, took it in deeper than Buddha's belly button and just got into the back of Van Opstroll. Something horrible.
And how Van Opstroll was managed to keep that on the racing line, I will never know, because that Bay State Hammer machine probably had about 30 kilometers an hour at the time of impact. It was at 127 against 87. In fact, at contact, it was 67 kilometers an hour for Van Opstroll, and it was 96 for the Bay State Hammer.
Right in front of him, McNally has it off, and he loses a couple spots to Cooper and Van Opstroll.
Van Opstroll has a big dent, a big Bay State Hammer-sized dent in the rear of that machine, and that much is very, very telling when the Bay State Hammer takes his hammer out and decides he wants to start swinging.
It was hammer time.
It was not at Monaco, I will just say that right now. But you look at this event, the train has very much formed behind Dries Nice, who leads this field. It's a train of 4, and there's a little bit of contact there between Kowalski and Hartley, as Pignan doing all of his best at the back. I think Pignan needs to get into this pack, make some position, get to the front and slow it down here, Soup, just to get Kanchin back in.
Friends and family of Dries Nice, enjoy it while it lasts, because he's going to be running out of fuel pretty soon.
You do not know that, and I think
I know that.
Iru Nom knows that, and he's going to keep him at the front of the field. So I think he's going to force Dries Nice to try and go as long as he possibly can as he runs wide through Spoon, hoping that he will lift off and give up the position. He may just have to decide to do that, because Iru Nom's not going to go and make the move. Or is he? Moves to the outside to make it. Now let's go Noah's Ark too wide, too deep, because Kowalski's going to give the position to Robert Hartley. He doesn't want to fight it. Dries Nice moves back into second. Now it's ultra conserve fuel save mode for Dries Nice. He's got to make things happen. Ertem is down onto the lane for a second time.
Let me give you some numbers. Dries Nice was in his pit box for 11.7 seconds. Sonny Kanchin, 19.3. That's why Sonny's not in the mix, and that's why Dries Nice is the leader.
8 seconds. Well, he was the leader here, because Iru Nom now is. So train of 5 at the front, and Sonny Kanchin just propping up the rear. It's not often that we get to say that. Sonny Kanchin propping up the rear. But you see now Iru Nom at the lead of this one. He wants to try and just force the pace to go a bit quicker, break away. Don't count out Robert Hartley. He knows how to win races. Arguably, he's been the second best driver to winning races since Sonny Kanchin for the last 2 seasons soon.
Yeah, he's got that win. Of course, Nubbs picked up a few, but yeah, I would certainly put him in the mix right there. How about Kowalski racing in 4th position? Good job from him. John, after having that mistake, is back in the hunt in 5th. This is going to be exciting. I'm not sure if any of these guys are going to break away. The question is, can Sonny get to him? He's 2.5 seconds back.
Well, he needs a bit of help from a few friends. He did a 2:23.3 that last time by. It was a 2:24.4 from Dries Nice, but a 23.6 from Irunom. We'll see what the time is from Irunom this time by. See if Sonny Kanchan is closing down that gap. So I think he may be, but he's hoping that there's a little bit of a stretch here. Maybe have someone like Michel Pignan drop off by a few tenths of a second, make sure there is just more of that buffer to pick up the train as Hartley looks so close to the rear of Dries Nice through 200 right.
5 laps to go. Maybe it's a good opportunity. I don't know if our director has it ready. We'll go ahead and do our Trip Smith back marker shout out right now. We don't have to go too far back. Let's go ahead and check in and see what's going on with Trip Smith and Ursum. Well, Trip was out there, but Jeroen Ursum has called it a day. So Smith racing in 17th position. He's got about 53 seconds to get up to Bjorn de Forsch. Robert Vitti in a nice mix too. This is a great battle going on here for 14th position that has Arjen Shepherds in it as well. They race 14, 15 to 16. Quickly moving up to Luke the Juke Vilmanson in 13th position. He's got about 21 seconds to get up to the Sheriff, Jordy Fike. Fike in a great battle, though, trying to make a move on Marco Derricks as they race for 11th position. Let's stay on this a bit and see if Jordy makes this move. Right behind him, and they're going to have to wait. Or continue up through the field. We get to the Bay State Hammer. Tom Ratchie, that car about 2 or 3 inches shorter than when it started. He's looking to see if he can get back into the back of Stephen Van Ostrel. Not literally. He's already done that once in 9th. Then we get to McNally in 8th. I think that's far enough. We get to Jason Cooper in 7th. There's your Trip Smith back marker shout out.
And the gap between Pignan and Kanchan is 1 second. So yes, he can close down the gap. And yes, I can think that he can get onto the rear of this train. Disaster for everybody on it. It was Robert Hartley who was trying to make the move on Dries Nice. Nice really trying to save some fuel. And everybody now is just losing that time because they are starting to fight in amongst themselves. Nom was 0.6 of a second slower than Kanchan. And Kanchan probably has more fuel to burn as well. That's why he's able to run such quick lap times.
You got to have a little bit of a worry, too, that there's a bit of target fixation in the pit boxes. When they all saw Dries Nice pull away, you got to wonder if that didn't make Nom and Hartley maybe get off their fuel tank a little sooner than they thought. The one driver who stayed in we know he has enough, that's Sonny Kanchan. He's going to be able to race with a clear conscience.
He certainly will be able to race with a clear conscience, and he will be clearly on the rear with Marcelo Pignan. That should be the easiest move, his own teammate, but then he's got to get through all of the rest of them. Dries Nice has been starting to fall back a little bit, though. I think he wants to be in that scrap, but he doesn't quite know how. Keep an eye on that amateur category battle as well. McNally versus Van Opstal. That's crucial for Van Opstal.
Van Opstal ahead of McNally in the points, but not on the track.
But it is a battle of diminishing returns as, again, Dries Nice runs wide through Spoon, and that puts him under pressure. Battle for the race lead. Robert Hartley wants control again. He wants to wrest it away from Irunom, the rolling Estonian, and he will make sure that he takes that position away and back into the race lead once more. I don't care about how much of a bridesmaid you want to be as he angles to the inside. Nope, you will lose the race lead and you will fall back to your default position of second.
After getting into trouble last week, you got to feel that Num's probably a little bit gun-shy about mixing it up too much. Right now, he's sitting in good spot. He's in 2nd position, and his biggest rival is back in 6th.
Big wiggle for Jason Cooper on the exit of 130R. How he saves it, I do not know, but he got all shades of sideways, and that was so scary in front of McNally.
Didn't lose a spot, though. McNally, though, with a great run. If we stay on this one a little bit longer, after he gathers it up, McNally's going to make the pass going into 1.
He certainly is going to make that attempt, and there we go. Down the inside, no, they're going to keep on scrapping side by side, and Cooper holds the position. Up and under attempt coming, and it is not forthcoming yet. Brad McNally's going to have to go the long way round at turn 3. Not enough of a run to make that work, and now he's just trying to open up every corner, almost like trying to open Pandora's box. It's impossible.
Boy, he is really working on the back of Cooper, on him like a postage stamp. And watching the whole thing is Van Opstal.
Yes, Van Opstal certainly looking, waiting for the mistakes to happen as Kowalski runs wide through Degner 2, gets away with it further forward in the field, just running 2, maybe even 3 tyres off into the gravel. So he holds on for the moment, but it's 2 to go when they next cross the line. 2.5 laps remaining, Soup. How do you pick a winner?
Hartley's a pole sitter out in front, but he's not really in the points race. Errol Numb in second position. He's been in second so many times this season. There's no way he wants to come in second again, but he knows his rival is back there in 6th. Then you got Dries Nice, who is going to run out of fuel here any moment. The rookie Kowalski still in the hunt in 4th, and the Italian driver who already has a win this season like to get another one.
Yes, he certainly does. And don't forget, Mr. I've won every race I've entered so far, Sonny Kanchin. But he's pretty much not in position. Irunom sits on the rear of Hartley and goes, no, I'm going to push you, but I'm not going to give you any opportunity to not have the lead heading into the final lap. So he sits and he plays strategy. But look at how Dries Nice, if he does come down onto the lane, Soup, he will leave a massive gaping hole between Nom and Kowalski getting the drift on. Dorifto, Tokyo style.
Looking at catching now as he makes the pass up around Pignon.
Keep an eye on Marco Derricks, though, side by side through 130R with the Bay State hammer and on the brakes, holding it around the outside, though. Bay State not going to have it. There's the run on the exit. Just about enough room given, and Derricks takes the position.
Oh, my goodness. iRacing is very generous with the amount of track you can race there without picking up a slowdown penalty. You see it right there.
Oh, yes, you do. 2 to go. Popsicle sticks in the air at Suzuka, and how fitting it is as we got almost a 3 wide into turn number 2. Cooper holding off McNally, holding off Van Opstal. I think Van Opstal starting to get desperate here, Soup.
Yeah, well, first of all, he wants to be a pro driver next season, so he's not only racing for the AMP Championship, he's racing for everything he can right now. But the real question is, what's going to play up front as they race in a 6-car train?
What is going to play? A lap and a half to go. Soup, I'm going to ask you a very, very important question. An important question that only you can answer and you alone can answer. Who is going to win?
Oh, I like Errol Numb in this position. I like where he is right now. He's figuring out right now, doing what Joe Peak, one of our commentators here in GSRC, likes to call some reconnaissance racing, just trying to feel it out. Where am I going to get Robert Hartley? Yeah, Hartley was the pole sitter, but this is such a draft-oriented track that sitting in second is going to be great. He has no worries about Nice because Nice is going to run out of fuel. Kowalski's a rookie. He's not going to get there. Kanchin is up to 3rd. God, my gosh, if he pulls one out of the bag here. Up to P5, yeah. Maybe I spoke too soon. I bet you he'll be in 3rd before I finish this sentence.
Machado Pignon is starting to fall away a little bit. It now becomes a train of 5 effectively. Kanchin's got to make moves, and he's got to make them quickly in places that nobody really wants to see them. 130R coming up. The white flag very soon will be approaching. Artem Kowalski won't want to give away P4. He feels that he may have one of the best shots here. If anything as should happen as they get on the brakes, no positions change as we head to the white flag lap at Suzuka. One more lap of 5.81 kilometers of 17 turns and of opportunity knocking for drivers. Battle behind, no. Cooper versus McNally. McNally wants air between himself and Van Opstal, and a vehicle will help as well. He looked for the inside. It wasn't forthcoming, and that may have just compromised his run against Jason Cooper. We'll keep an eye on that one. For now, no moves into turn number 1 for your leading pair, or for your leading 6. Your leading 6-pack challenge is all having this big scrap, and they're looking for opportunity. Robert Hartley, who was the pole sitter, has led the most laps in this event today, has known that he wants to win this one from the front. He will have to defend hard from Irunom, who's now got to pick and choose the moment, and the moment is so difficult to get right. Dries Nice in 3rd. He's staying out for this final lap. He may have enough to get to the finish. He may not. We do not know. For Artem Kowalski, he's been the nearly man all season. Hasn't had a win. Hasn't had himself the best of finishes, but he certainly shows that he has the pace to race with the very, very best in the MX-5, with Sonny Kanchin in 5th. knowing just how good he can certainly be when it comes to an event like this as they make their way up the hill towards the hairpin. Kobayashi corner. Anyone going to do a Kobayashi dive? No, sir. Nobody looks to go and make that position. Nobody looks to go and make that move. So for Robert Hartley, he knows that he has an opportunity left as Dries Nice struggles. Dries Nice maybe out of fuel right about now. And there goes the tanker, Soup said. Dries Nice will struggle and splutter his way to the end. And the worst part about it is it's uphill all the way to 130R. So he is going to really struggle clutching, lifting and coasting his way over to the end. That's opened up the gap then that Irunom wanted. Sonny Kanchin then moves up to 4th and already defensive line taken by Artem Karolski looking to defend. But suddenly Irunom doesn't have the gap that he wants. He needs to close it down. It's 0.2 of a second. And actually he lifts out of the toe. He doesn't want it. Now he gets it as they head to 130R side by side. Behind goes Karolski and also Sonny Kanchin. Kanchin holding on side by side for your race lead though. No Ozaki too wide, too deep into the Casio triangle. Around the outside goes Irunom. Forces Robert Hartley to go wide. Shuts the door on the exit and finally takes a race victory. Kanchin behind will take 3rd, but Irunom holds on for a fantastic race win at Suzuka. He holds on for it. Hartley 2nd. Kanchin steals 3rd with a big late lunge. Artem Karolski 4th and Marcelo Pignard finishing in 5th position.
Let's look at Cooper.
Oh, yes, we should here because Jason Cooper is just going to hold off McNally and Van Opstal. McNally takes points out of Van Opstal's amateur championship lead. Crucially, Derricks holds off Ratji and Fike. And for that, we have to say that what an event it is for Nom. He is top of the mountain once more.
DeForge, Vitta, and Smith rounded out. All cars that are racing are going to finish on the lead lap. The only car that did not finish on the lead lap, Jeroen Urson, 5 laps down.
Well, for Robert Vita, I'm not sure he's even finished this one here, Soup. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I want to know where he's gone off.
Yeah, and I probably spoke too soon. I don't know if Dries Nice is going to get to the end either.
Well, Dries Nice, he will continue to try and just chug his way along. And I think he hasn't got his way himself to the end. So he is out and he went for the bold call that didn't work. He probably needed about another lap or two sitting behind someone else, trying to get himself just that little bit enough fuel. If he ran out just as he was heading out of Spoon, I thought he had a chance, Soup.
Well, I'm glad you thought so. I knew he didn't.
Well, let's take this one just away for a moment here, ladies and gentlemen, from Suzuka. When we come back, the post-race show, or shall we say the SimSport News wrap-up show, as we get a look at a couple of drivers, how their races went, and we'll give you final classified results. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SimSport News Wrap-Up. SimSport News is one of the first dedicated sim racing news websites that covers all broadcasted series on iRacing. Ran by Jacob Toffs and Gianni Quintelier, SimSport News race team competes on many official iRacing series, as well as the one you've been watching. For more information, go to simsportnews.com. But before we go to results, how about we just throw the highlight reel back at what Irunon was able to do. What a tough overtake he had. He had to go around the outside soup of Robert Hartley. Not only did he do that, but at the second part, it looked for certain that there was going to be contact, and it was Hartley's great reflexes that made sure that there was none.
Yeah, I think Errol knew where he wanted to make the pass and how he wanted to do it from 3 or 4 laps ago, and he was just waiting. It was really which kind of defensive line that Hartley was going to take. And he protects what is kind of the inside line here into the triangle. The good news is you're good here. You're in the preferred position. Then you're not. Then you are again, and they bump. Hartley gets the worst of it. And Errol Num finally gets his first win. A long time coming.
A very long time coming. Also keep an eye on Sonny Kanchan's move as well, because it looked for the world that Artem Karolski was going to get the run on him coming out of the Casio triangle. Didn't work in the end, so for Sonny Kanchan, he gets a podium, and it was damage limitation all the way. Classified results, though, they're up on your screen right about now. Irunon picks the victory up by 0.3 of a second in the end from Robert Hartley, with Sonny Kanchan coming home in 3rd position. Artem Karolski will finish 4th, with Michele Pagnan in 5th. The top 5 split by just 1.4 seconds over the line. Jason Cooper comes home 6th position, with Adam McNally and Stephen Van Opstal, the amateurs, 7th and 8th. Ninth would go to Marco Derricks, who would hold off the Bay State Hammer.
And just behind them, 0.2 of a second behind Tom Ratchey, was the Sheriff. Jordy Feike comes home in 11th position ahead of Jupe Vilmanson. In the Baker's Dozen spot is Bjorn DeForsch. 14th and 15th goes to Arnon Shepherds and Trip Smith. Then the drivers that I believe probably ran out of fuel. That's Dries Nice and Robert Vitta. And, of course, we talked about Jeroen Ursum. He had trouble. He did not complete the race, finishing 6 laps down in 18th.
Yes, he certainly did finish his race. Didn't finish his race, sorry, shall I say. Going to bring in then to the comedy booth, Iru. It's finally there. It's a Wraith win this season, and it's been a long time coming, seeing as you've been so much up there all of these races this season.
Yeah, finally had good pit stop. I think that was the key.
Talk us then through your last lap pass on Robert Hartley. It seemed for the world that you were waiting for that moment to make a decisive move, but around the outside, not many people thought you would be able to do that.
Yeah, on the run on the second last corner, I saw I didn't get enough run, and so I tried that in the practice, and it worked. So I just lifted before and went through the, 180R. I don't know the corner, but yeah, flat out, and I was able to get quite a good run to the last chicane, and then just take the outside. I don't think we touched. Maybe it didn't look in my car at least.
No, it didn't look like there was a touch at all. But for you, the championship looks like you're just trying to wrest that back away from Sonny Kanchan. A very, very strong result then here from Suzuka. And not only that, you head yourself over to Sebring in just, how I put it, a couple of weeks' time. For Sebring, do you feel that Sebring's going to be that circuit which looks to solidify the momentum you've now managed to produce?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I have driven Mazda there, maybe some other leagues, but yeah, maybe it's good for me. Let's see. I have to practice. I didn't practice today much, but it was enough.
It was enough indeed. So before we let you go, shout out some sponsors.
Yeah, the league sponsors and organizers and their guys.
No worries at all. Irunon then coming home with a race victory. Soup, you will have the ability of talking to Sonny Kanchan, who may be a little bit frustrated that his 100% streak's over.
Sonny, you were fast, but the pit stop got you.
Hi, Bill. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Suzuka always been my nemesis here at the pits, and this race wasn't any different, I guess. Last time I had a pit penalty, and this time around I got stuck, and my commands didn't work at all. So luckily, I don't know how I got out of the pits. So extra fuel and extra tires, I guess.
Well, at least you could run full speed at the end. Some of those guys were nursing it because they were short. You got to kind of be happy to salvage third. It looked grim for a while. You were back in sixth.
Yeah, third. I'm happy about that. Third is better than where I was about to end, I guess, soon after the pits. The car had to settle down with the new tires. It was incredibly tough to keep up the pace with only the fresh new left side. That's what I feel. I think it's something really about this track with the new tires. It's really hard to get back in the groove. And once the car settled down, the last 2 laps, I was running out of laps, but I was able to catch up to them, and that's what happened.
Well, the win streak stops, but you're not going to get hurt too badly from the points. So congratulations. It's going to be an exciting run. What's your summer like? How many you going to have to miss too many?
No, not really. I'm looking forward to it. Everything's marked on my calendar, and so I will be there, and it's exciting. And looking forward to the next one, Sebring. Hopefully, nothing like Suzuka pits.
That's at nighttime, so make sure those headlights are well polished.
Oh, definitely. Awesome. Thanks, Sip. Definitely look forward to it.
All right. Good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thanks, Sip. Cheers, buddy.
Jake?
Yep, Sonny Kanchin then coming home in third position. We're going to get a chance then to talk to Artem Korolski. Artem, position 4 for you today. Lost the position, though, on the final few corners. Artem, do you have a copy? The answer is no. So we're going to give 1 more second then to Artem Korolski. Do you have a copy? The answer is still no, but that is a shame. But Sue, final thoughts then coming out of Suzuka.
Yeah, I got a few. First of all, it's nice to be right on a pit strategy that I thought for Dries nice. I'm sorry he ran out of fuel, but I'm glad to be right on that one. Good to see Aaron Num get that win, and I got to give a tip of the hat to Korolski. Too bad we couldn't get the interview with him. The rookie did really well, and I'm sorry to see that Cooper had more trouble in the pits. Boy, he is fast. Once he figures out how to make a pit stop, look for him to get a win.
Yes, certainly should do. But of course, a pit stop is part of the aim of the game. But that is going to be all that we have time for this evening. So it's time to go through and thank everybody that has been here today. A massive thanks to everybody at the Quality Racing Sim-dicate for organising this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks also go to Heusinkveld. Affordable simulator software and hardware are thought to be of limited use for race teams and drivers, but their simulation solutions bring professional results within reach for any race team or driver, without having to compromise on realism or engineering value. They offer a broad array of products and services such as advanced vehicle simulation software and hardware. They are able to simulate any combination of race car and track, including a full-fledged cockpit environment with unparalleled realism. Heusinkveld solutions are currently being used by professional teams and drivers in Formula Ford, GP3, GP2 and Formula 1. Now, these products are available for any professional team or driver looking for an edge in racing. Be a better race car driver and get in touch today. We would also like to thank Sim Sport News as well for their help in sponsoring the post-race show. Thanks also go to the company's equipment and software that you see on screen right now that we use on our broadcast. And the original music you've heard today is thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Malone. See the screen for how to contact each of them right now.
If watching Game of Thrones has taught me anything, that is the night is dark and full of terrors, and that could not ring more true than at Sebring, is where we're going to go June 9th for the next round. Except for the main straightaway, it is dark and darker there. Sliding across your screen right now are some of the upcoming broadcasts. Mark them down on your calendar and check them out. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming lists of all the broadcasts, you can find that at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSRC Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And while you're here, go ahead and click the subscribe on the YouTube channel.
And finally, on behalf of the man on my right, Bill Supzan, the man behind the desk, our director, Amjad Yamin, and the man who some say won the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indy 500, and the Coke 600 in a Toyota Sprinter Truno, all in the same day. That is our camera guru, Dougie Beard. I'd like to thank you all for watching. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.